We've been talking about this CPI inflation print for, gosh, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Let's get into the numbers. Let's figure out if a July rate cut is coming. Let's figure out if there's more inflation ahead. So we'll start at the surface level, the numbers that you will likely see on the mainstream media. But of course, we will go deeper because that is where the story really is. First, headline information. We got headline inflation at 2.7. It was expected to be 2.6. Last month was 2.4. Core, last month was 2.8, expected to be 2.9, and was 2.9. If you go to the month-on-month numbers, they were both, one was rounded to 0.3, the other down to 0.2. Core month-on-month, you will hear people talk about, was softer than expected. Now, let's get into the actual numbers because that's where the story is. If you are in this, if you are in the camp that tariff inflation is coming, you're going to see lots of evidence today. If you go inside and you actually look at the categories where there was inflation, hot inflation, it will be on imports, things like furniture, toys, personal electronics, things of that nature. Now, you have to remember, always remember that imported goods make up about 12% of our GDP. Again, significant, but not crazy. The largest part of our economy is services. Now, if you step back and look at services like airfare, hotel, even rent, they were soft. And services is a much bigger component of inflation. Now for the fly in the ointment, especially for headline. Headline inflation was as expected, or a little bit hotter than expected, 2.7 versus 2.6. Mainly, in my opinion, because of oil and gas. If you go back and look at the last month, the Iran kerfuffle, whatever you want to call that, spiked and then turned into being nothing. If you look at the chart, it's kind of like up and right back down. And if you look at the inflation readings, it appears that they captured near the peak of that month. Again, gas, energy, the like was up 1% or 0.9, something of that nature, which again, if you annualize, is double digits. So I suspect if you are in the camp like Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman, you're going to be screaming July rate cut. If you're Jerome Powell, president, or Fed President Daley, many of the other Fed presidents, you're going to say no cut September. So now we have the numbers. We do get PPI tomorrow, but that will be likely muted. So again, I think we're to the point where you can confidently say no July rate cut. However, you will likely not have a unanimous decision. I believe Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller will be auditioning for the top job, and they are going to dissent on principle. So at this point, that is the inflation reading. Again, depending on how you came into the session, you could read it lots of different ways. Either in tariffs are impactful on imported goods. True. Tariffs dwarfed by services deflation. True. Oil was a big impact. True, but now is muted. So again, now we wait another 30 days or so and see if that final tough month that we've been talking about, August, is muted or not. Because again, if you are in the camp that tariffs are coming and it's going to be impactful, you'll see evidence. You will absolutely see evidence in this report. So there we go. Let's talk about some earnings. We are into big banks. We got JP Morgan, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo, and even BlackRock. Pretty much the same story. The big boys did just fine. JP Morgan beat top line and bottom line, highlighting both risks and positives. Risks are tariffs and trade uncertainty. Positive, tax bill is done and deregulation. Note that JP Morgan says credit card spending up 7% year on year. Charge-offs, reserves for bad debt at 2019 levels. You've likely been hearing from doomers here and there talking about delinquencies rising and spiking. Folks, that was just the garbage that was pushed back. It's now rolling over. Delinquencies, at least at JP Morgan, charge-offs back to 2019. That spike is now over. Delinquencies, in fact, are lowest since Q3 of 2023. Citigroup beat top line, bottom line, did increase credit loss reserves by $2 billion in the quarter. Wells Fargo beat, although gave very weak forecast. Consumers and small business lending at Wells Fargo was up 3%. And then finally, BlackRock missed on revenue but beat on earnings. We did get some other interesting data out of the Port of LA. Port of LA sees record container traffic as shippers race to beat Trump tariffs. Again, we've seen this behavior before. It's often called pull forward, right? You rush to do something before increased costs. So again, does not surprise me that we had record shipments. Housing Wire, I believe, Housing Wire reported this. One third of the largest 100 housing markets are now showing annual price declines. A lot of that is in the Sun Belt. Again, if you're in the Northeast or Upper Midwest, you keep telling me there is no drop. It is still at record levels. Jamie Dimon, on the back of JP Morgan's earnings, actually sounding positive. Jamie Dimon, the one that's always putting out doom and gloom. Jamie Dimon says, well, I guess this one is negative. Markets are complacent about the risk for more U.S. rate hikes. Yes, folks, Jamie Dimon was given a discussion in Europe yesterday. It might have been the day before, where Jamie Dimon said, there is a 40 to 50% chance that the next interest rate move is higher, not lower. Let me say that again. Everybody and their brother is talking rate cuts, not Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon said 40 to 50% chance the next rate move is up, not down. Found that interesting. Where is my positive? Oh, I put that out on X or Twitter. So if you follow me on X or Twitter, Jamie Dimon said in the earnings that the consumer is basically fine. I didn't take the notes here, but I did put it out on X this morning. Let's talk about home buyers, specifically international home buyers. International home buyers are back in a big way. They increased 44% year on year. There was a time when international home buyers, frankly, left the United States. Again, they are back with an increase of 44% year on year. The median home price they're buying is $494,000. So that's above the national average. 21% in Florida, 15% in California, 10% in Texas, 7% in New York, and 5% in Arizona. So again, it looks like Florida is the hot spot for international home buyers. I do want to talk about our school community really quick. First, some good news. I finally got day 2 of our Vegas event loaded. So again, you could get in there and see presentations from Fred, PTO for Life, Millennial Mike, myself, Jason Pritchard, all in there now. Just go into the classroom. At the bottom of the classroom, there is a thumbnail that says ORaaT Year 2 Celebration. All presentations are now loaded. It was a promise I made to you when we got to 400 students. We're now at 425, I think. So again, day 2 is loaded. I did want to give you a taste of the event. So 2 videos from yesterday. We have a video yesterday talking about how a $10 side hustle was the seed capital to buy real estate. Check that one out. We also had Jason Pritchard teaching us all how to be better investors. And then just for grins, I did actually paid somebody to do a compilation of our podcast room. So you will see 8 or 9 experts from our podcast room. Those videos were not seen by anybody else, but you can see them. Those videos were all posted yesterday. Check them out. Last thing about school, I've been thinking about how to describe school in stages. So this is what I've come with. Again, I'm using an acronym called CLEAN, and I'd love to use a different one, but this is the only one my simple brain has come up with. The C stands for community. And I really think community is the most important thing. Again, getting around 425 other people going the same direction is freeing. There's a map feature where you can see people are located, and you could just really get your own network of wealth builders. That's the big thing about One Rental at a Time, is we are a community of wealth builders at all different levels, but we are all moving the same direction. L stands for live Sunday conversations. This is something I'm putting much more focus on, trying to get a long list of folks coming. This Sunday, I'm trying to lock down the accountant to the stars, Bob Langworthy. Next week, we've got Casey from Brick by Brick lined up, and I will be building out the calendar going forward. E is for education. Ever since the beginning of school, there's thousands of dollars in education for free, like a 10-week boot camp, creative financing, door knocking, whatever you want. It's in there. A, accountability groups. We now have 7 accountability groups and may have another one coming for Gen Z if we can get Cody to say yes. Wouldn't it be great for Cody Davis to do a Gen Z accountability group? I think that would be amazing. Hopefully we can make that happen. And then the N is network. Network. Again, the network is your net worth. The ability to network, create friends, have meetings, all of that. Again, personal network is interesting. So that's what I come up with clean. If you are more creative than me, I would love to hear from you. These are things that are important to me. I think all of you should be in the school community. It's at a price point of $20, 67 cents a day. I believe Mark, the financial firefighter, still has a few of you that he could reimburse and give you the first month free. So again, get in there, see what's what. Again, day 2 of our Vegas event is now loaded. Day 1 was loaded last week, so have fun with that. Don't know if you guys saw this, and frankly, I don't know if this is fake news or not, but President Trump is looking at a bill that would eliminate all capital gains from home sales. First off, wow. Just wow. Don't know if it's true, but wow. Second, I'm going to guess it's not all homes. I'm going to guess it's all primary homes. Just a guess. Don't know. Just a guess. And second, that would create a lot of inventory. I think that would create a lot of inventory. Again, just think about all the people in California, the Silicon Valley, that frankly can't afford to move. Right? They bought a house in Palo Alto in 1981, and they got a Prop 13 tax at like 7 cents a year or something. They can't move. But you take away that capital gains, I think you get a lot of homes for sale. But anyways, don't know if it's real. It's interesting to think about, though. The question I have for you is, let's just play for a minute. Let's assume that happened, just for grants. That's a lot of tax revenue that's lost. They got to make that up somewhere. Where are they going to make that up from? I don't know. So again, pretty interesting. We've got Ray Dalio out there being negative again. He seems to always be that way. Ray Dalio once again talking about the economic heart attack. The economic heart attack coming to America. I dug into it a little bit more. He's basically saying that the national debt is like plaque in our arteries. Eventually it gets to the point where you just die. Interesting enough, Ray Dalio says if you want to protect yourself, buy gold or Bitcoin. That's what Ray Dalio says. Buy gold or Bitcoin. Let's do one or two more things. We've got, let's see. We'll do 2 more things. Fed President Hammack says, if the Fed sees the economy weaken, of course we will respond. Kind of like no duh. Also, I don't see an imminent need to cut rates. And again, that was said yesterday. I would assume he says that today as well. And then finally, we'll talk about the CEO at Huntington Bank shares, Steve, I'm going to say Stenor, something like that. The core economy is really performing well. It's showing up in loan growth, and credit quality. Also, he thinks that the accelerated depreciation is going to be a huge boost to onshore manufacturing and other expansions. Again, folks, there is a real possibility once we get over the hump of these tariffs that the animal spirits kick in and the economy starts to hum, given the incentives in the big, beautiful bill. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out Steadily. I'm hearing from more and more folks. In fact, you can go back to yesterday's daily financial news, and somebody saved big money with Steadily. Remember, folks, if you are a landlord, you need insurance. You should always have options. Insurance is getting more and more expensive. Do yourself a favor if you are a landlord. Check out the link in the description, put in the address, and see if Steadily can save you some money. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, but it is up to you to find out. All right, folks, take care. Have a wonderful day. Peace.